Now we got the MIDI studio stood up, ready to go. Now we want to just make sure the MIDI device we're using, the external MIDI device, can sync properly with Pro Tools. That's how we do it. We're going to go up here to Setup. Next, we're going to go to MIDI Studio. Then we're going to go to MIDI B clock. Now here in MIDI B clock, as you can see, we have enabled MIDI B clock 4, and here in the box below we have the MPC 500. Now it's checked, but over here to the immediate right hand side you'll see it says offset samples, and below that we have a 0. Now in case the MIDI device you're using has a latency issue where you may sync it up with your Pro Tools system, it may fall a little bit late. This will set up what the latency for that device will be. That means the offset for the sample rate. So we'll press OK here, because we're going to find out right now whether my MPC 500 has a latency problem. So first thing I'm going to do is make a couple tracks. We'll go to New and make a new track. I'll just use one. Now I've got my MPC already hooked up. It's ready to go. What I gotta do is go back over here to my transport and press Record Enable. Now you see it's blinking over here. As you can see right here, that track I selected is blinking also. I'll make it a little larger so you can see it properly. There you go. And it's blinking. Now I'll press play. Now I'm recording this hi-hat on the track. Turn up a little bit more. You want to record a few bars just to get a good idea. Now I'll press stop. And here we can see the hi-hats have been recorded. Now you got to make sure you're in grid mode. So you're in grid and everything snaps to a grid. We got to make sure our main timer right here is set to beats and bars. We got to make sure the tab to transients is enabled. Now once this is, we want to find somewhere here and see how close these transients are coming to the actual beat. Now I'll widen up a little bit more, and right here we can see a little bit less, and I'll click right here. So I'll click right here. Watch, see this? That's on the beat. So I'm going to go on the beat right as close to the where the recording happened right there, that hi-hat's at. Now I'll widen a little bit more, and you can see it better here. You can see the difference between the point right on the line where it's at and where this hi-hat comes in. Now what I want to do is find out if there's a latency in the time delay it takes for the MIDI device to receive the signal and then record the audio information out. So once this is here, and I put that there using my cursor, as you can see here, my selector right here, the line's blinking. We're going to press Shift and Tab. Now once you press Shift and Tab, you'll notice that right here it's grayed out a little bit. So now we go back up to the main timer and we'll put this in terms of samples. And what it gives me now is the length of what it is that it's off by. And the length is right here, which is 11,050. Okay, so that's my offset. I'll go here to setup, back to MIDI. There's MIDI Studio right below that, going to MIDI beat clock. And here in MIDI beat clock, I'm going to put that number in the offset. That's 11050. Now it's got to be a negative number, so put a negative sign in front of it. Next, we press OK. Now you'll see here, this box comes up here saying the value is less than the allowed minimum previous value substituted. So that means it's okay. So that is my offset. Now sometimes you may use a machine that may have a smaller offset or may not be right, and if it is, it'll keep the value. We'll say, okay, the value entered is correct and cool, and it'll help you to offset your system so that way when you do record something, there won't be a latency issue with that particular external MIDI device. I'll press OK, and now I'm ready to track all my drums down to separate tracks here in my Pro Tools system on my new song.